All right, here we go. Welcome to our video. I'm Mason. You're going to see Edgar and Zach in a little bit, and we're going to walk you through Bono's 6 hats and what we learned about it. So first thing, what do we learn about the process? It's a great facilitator. It's a great way to break your thought process down into different components, to be able to generate ideas in all new ways, to look at a problem, look for solutions in 6 completely different mindsets, and to allow yourself to kind of get outside of your little box, outside of what you do normally, and to force yourself into a place that maybe you're not comfortable with, but it allows you to come up with new ideas and allows you to take your entire group better places.
So some of the challenges of the 6 hats is that although it is a great way to generate ideas, a lot of ideas as a result can be generated, and because of this, it tends to become a very difficult time to separate a lot of these ideas because we generate ideas and we analyze them using the green hat, the red hat, the black hat, and as a result, these can all get mixed in. It can get jumbled up, and it just becomes sometimes a hassle to work with.
So which hat do I like the most? I would probably say I like the green hat the most. I really like, trying to be creative, trying to generate ideas, just throwing things out there, potential solutions. It's cool to see some of the ideas that you and your group mates can come up with. The one I like the least is the black hat. Just not a huge fan of negativity. It can be frustrating, especially when someone's constantly playing devil's advocate, and it's not something that I particularly enjoy doing.
So my favorite hat usually tends to be the green hat. I love the idea generation process. I think that by far and away it was the most fun part of this assignment. The one that I like the least is the red hat. Generally when I'm working in groups, I have no problem switching into red hat mode and I have no problem thinking emotionally. But in general, sometimes that's where you'll see the most arguments between people actually clashing with their personalities and their own deep feelings. So I usually have some problems kind of separating those two out, and that's something I'm going to work on a little bit.
So for me personally, I typically enjoy wearing the green hat. I love generating ideas. I like seeing a problem and trying to create an idea that can essentially solve that problem. What hat I find most frustrating to work with is the black hat. Essentially, as what Mason says, playing devil's advocate. I don't like having such a negative outlook on a lot of things. I'm typically a very upbeat and positive person. I love to see I love to keep a good outlook on life, and so the negativity has just not me. I can't work with that.
The hat I normally wear the most in group settings, probably the blue hat. I like to keep thought process and things on track, to mediate, really to keep things rolling and continually being productive. I just don't like being off track. While working independently, a little bit difficult for me. I might go with the white hat that time. Look at things in a pretty dry manner, a pretty analytical manner, and just try to figure out what I have to work with and where I can go from there. And cultivating other hats, just by working in groups, forcing myself to step out of the room and then come back in, to wear the white hat, then to wear the black hat, look at it. The yellow hat as a facilitator, blue as a mediator, red as emotion, or green as idea generation. Just forcing myself into the different ones that you learn and expand and grow as you do.
For me, while working in group settings, I usually tend to wear the black hat. I find myself very good at finding potential flaws, things that can go wrong, that sort of risk mitigation almost. And in a group setting, I feel like I can really thrive under that hat, which not a lot of people tend to like. But for me, recognizing the importance of it and the importance of it to your thought process, I think it brings a lot to the table to be able to go into that hat and fill that role. When I'm working independently, I fall into my favorite hat, which is the green hat, because when they're my ideas, I usually tend to just roll with it and then just keep compounding and compounding and coming. In terms of facilitating other hats, one of the things that I find particularly beneficial is even if the group isn't necessarily moving through the hats in terms of the real order, even if we never set out to go through the hat process, if if you just recognize when you're spending too much time on one specific hat and you try to generally steer the conversation towards, say, another hat, so if everyone's talking in terms of an emotional standpoint, we're in the red hat, say, okay, let's switch over to, say, the black hat, and let's actually talk about why we feel that way, not just discussion of how specific things make us feel.
So the hat that I typically wear in group settings is the white hat. I like to stick to the facts. I want us to have to create a very practical project that's feasible, and also reliable. But independently, I like to stick to the black hat. I like to see every possible outcome to whatever decision that I can make that will happen. That will happen. And because of this, a lot of the outlooks can either be positive or a lot of them can be negative. But in order to cultivate other hats, you just want to use all the different hats in order to come up with a good project. And
So moving forward, how will all of us use these hats in our educational and professional careers? I would just say anytime that we encounter a problem or are given an assignment, what have you, whether it be individual or group wise, take the time to sit down and go through the 6 hats, really break it down. White hat, what do we have in front of us factually? The yellow hat as a facilitator, the green hat, generate all those ideas. Red hat, be emotional, how do you feel about it? Black hat, potential pitfalls. And then just the blue hat, make sure everything stays on track. No matter what it be, whether it be in the classroom or the workplace and anywhere in between, all 6 hats can apply and they can all be utilized to help us, achieve bigger things.